So how has modern warfare evolved over the past 4 decades? There's a question. We're joined by former British Army Colonel Hamish de Bretton-Gordon. Hamish de Bretton-Gordon, welcome to you. Your reflections on 40 years since the end of the Falklands War.
Well, very poignant time, and especially with what we're seeing in Ukraine. I think there's sort of 3 things that really stick out to me. You know, first of all, when rogue leaders threaten sovereign nations, we need to be agile enough to react fast. And when Galtieri did invade the Falklands, we sort of knew it was coming. But politicians like to make decisions at absolutely the last safe moment, which is not what military commanders and leaders need. And we all saw Putin lining up to invade Ukraine, but we didn't do anything about it until he had. I think the second thing is the professionalism of the British military, working and fighting under the most demanding conditions against ostensibly conscripts. It was their fighting will and spirit that carried them through. You know, they're thousands of miles away from the UK on the most difficult chains of communications and logistics, but through their professional, they prevail. They're trench-to-trench fighting, sort of similar to the street-to-street fighting we're seeing in Ukraine at the moment. The Russian conscripts, predominantly the Russian military is conscript, vastly overmatched in weaponry and tanks and artillery than the Ukrainians. But the professional Ukrainians, a lot of them trained by the British military, are actually holding. And if, as in your entry said, we keep supporting them with the right equipment, I am sure that they will prevail. And the third thing that struck me, you know, thank God in the Falklands, the civilians were not weaponized. What we've seen in Syria and in Ukraine, the weaponization of civilians, the attacking of hospitals, this indiscriminate fight, which is absolutely disgraceful. But it is a very poignant day to remember the Falklands. I was just leaving school. A great buddy of mine left school and went straight to the Falklands and fought on Mount Tumbledown. And now 40 years on, we have prevailed. And the key thing to me, what the government hopefully understands, is we need a really effective military, because their first duty is protection of this country. And they need to think on that as we move forward, I think.